So if you have a total of 30k orbs at the start of mission 11, buy the last purple orb. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but since it's more devil trigger, it's better. Right here you can do a stinger slide, but it's kind of difficult. This one is a bit annoying as well because of the enigmas. But anyway, pick up this devil star. There's a second devil star you can pick up in this run, but optimally you don't need that. Then stinger here, swap to Agni Rudra, and then put your back against the soul eaters. Then wait a moment, and then jump and turn, and then do an aerial cross. One aerial cross is enough to kill each soul eater, but you have to hope that they don't just instantly start running away from you, and as far as I know there's no way to prevent that. And it's a time waste because they are invulnerable during that. Anyway, the way I do this is I turn my back, wait a moment, turn with my left stick doing like a full circle, and also running with devil trigger because it's faster to get there. Doesn't make a difference for the damage, but it's just faster to clear this room with it. Stinger to the next room, stinger twice here, and then jump, shoot, jump. Then just stinger to this statue and one to it to the end. After that, you want to do a stinger slide off this balcony here. It's a bit tricky. Then stinger diagonally across the room, jump, shoot, jump, break this wall and hit this statue all the way to the end. And 1-2 is the fastest way to do this. After the statue has been set, you're gonna have to fight a Hell Vanguard and 3 Soul Eaters. And the way to do this is you first jump down, start holding DT, taunt, and hope that the Hell Vanguard tries to attack you instead of just trying to teleport multiple times like this. I really don't know how to make him do this any faster. It's just that at some point he will just stop doing it. As for the Soul Eaters, you want to have your back facing them so that your DT that hits the Vanguard also hits at least one of the Soul Eaters. It's very common that 2 Soul Eaters will survive, and even here, as you can tell, the Soul Eaters can just teleport out of nowhere and become invincible, and you have to wait until they are done before you can hit them. Optimally, you just drop down there, taunt, and the Vanguard will try to hit you. Then you just run behind it and jump cancel it. And you may even be able to kill the Soul Eater by jump cancelling the Vanguard, and then with the DT you should catch them as well. And right here I got the best Altar of Evil fight I've ever had. At worst the fight can go something like this: you try to attack the Vanguard, you just keep clashing, you can't jump cancel, and then the Soul Eaters have this attack where they'll rush at you and grab you, and what that does is it'll suck out your devil trigger, and you can break free the same way if you break free from other grabs. If you have devil trigger you can just instantly get out of it with it, but obviously it's a huge waste of time when you get grabbed or when the Soul Eaters keep teleporting. Whatever happens, just do the best you can and then exit the room. In the next room, stinger once, then activate devil trigger and stinger to get a stinger slide. Then hit this statue and drop down here to get your second holy water. You can also get this in mission 12 where you are running with devil trigger, but I don't think it's any faster, besides you're losing health whilst doing that. Then get on the Temperance wagon, and when you see this card roll up here, start charging devil trigger. You can also just charge it earlier if you don't even have it. Then taunt when it gets close to you and explode. Then just switch cancel these guys. If you get parries, then you can use those because it's basically only the next wave on which you can use it effectively. Here you can taunt again and explode, and a 4-stock explosion is going to kill all lusts. Then there's gonna be a bunch of prides and some cards with enigmas, but as for the prides, right here I'm getting despawns. The Temperance wagon is the most common place for despawns, but don't expect them. Normally you should just get close to the prides and shotgun them. You can also stinger or attack them with melee, but there's a chance that they will try to block you and that will just waste time. Then parry the Wrath at the end. Then just stinger 3 times, activate devil trigger, run a bit, stinger to the door, and then stinger to Beowulf. Beowulf is quite possibly the biggest choke point in the run, because not only do you have to be able to jump cancel efficiently and fast, you have to land a gold release, and you only have one chance to do it, otherwise you're going to be wasting about 20 seconds, I would say. Beowulf is one of 2 or maybe 3 bosses alongside Geryon and Arkham who basically resist Devil Trigger Explosion. I don't know exactly why, but they take significantly less damage from it, so you should not use it. Beowulf also generally takes a lot less damage from anything that isn't a hit on his head than other bosses, more specifically a hit on his right eye. I'm unsure if there's some hidden hitbox that only shows during certain parts, or whether it's just so small and weirdly placed that it's hard to hit it, because even when you jump cancel his head and hit it, sometimes you do less and sometimes you do more damage. The camera in the fight can also be annoying, but at least it tries to keep you and Beowulf on the screen all the time. It's very important to know the correct strat in defeating him, because you have to fight him twice in the run, just like Cerberus and Agni Rudra. Let's look at his moves. The first one he'll almost always do is the 3-hit combo. Then after that, when you hit him in the eye, he will do these swipes. They hit you twice. And he also has a stomp, which he usually does if you're close to him. If you're in the air in front of him, he may do his breath attack. It has kind of a delayed hitbox if you want to parry it. He does it very rarely. I think once or twice had him do it as the first move of the fight. If you're behind him, he can turn around and swing at you. Once you stun him or he automatically gets stunned, he will go down on his knees for a moment and then do Wings of Light, which is a big explosion, after which he'll go on all fours, do a bull rush where he just runs around and can damage you. He always runs to the far left corner and then does the pillar drop or the cage drop. He literally knocks down cages, which he then punches at you. You can hit them back by attacking the cage at the correct time. You can also parry them. Anytime you stun him after the first time, he will not go on his knees and instead do Wings of Light immediately. After that, he'll just do the phase 2 thing again, where he just drops the cages and hits them at you. If you break the cages, you can get red or green orbs. Volcano is an AoE similar to Wings of Light, and it can knock the cages around. Feather Strike only happens from a mid or long distance, and he'll launch a barrage of feathers in 2 waves, and it's his most damaging move. So if you want to camp out with Spiral, beware. The body slam most often happens after a bull rush, but he can also do it by itself. The way you're supposed to do this is first stinger to him, then parry his combo 1, which is his most likely attack, then hit him in the eye, which will prompt him to do that pause swipe right there. And if you hit him enough here, he will get crumpled on the ground. And after that, when he does Wings of Light, you have to do a gold release on the explosion. The timing is later than you would think, but like in this case it didn't go that well, and here I'm showing you knocking back the cages at him, which do decent damage. And when he does the bull rush, you can interrupt it with a parry or a well-timed Helmbreaker or aerial cross, but I would say the parry is the easiest. Here you can see the slow opening. He lets you taunt before he does the combo 1, and just hit him with the aerial cross in his eye. He will do the swipes, you can parry them. Use Devil Trigger when hitting him. Also, you can jump cancel him, and the areas where you can jump cancel him are about the head and the shoulders, and maybe the upper back, not much else. And here you can see I got the gold release, but since I didn't do enough damage in the first place, it was just not enough to do a 1 cycle. The 1 cycle is very difficult, but even if you don't get it, you can still get a good fight if you just don't dawdle like this. Here's some of the parry timings. For most attacks I would just suggest to stay still and parry or do an aerial guard, because for example the stomp can give you meter, but it will whiff if you just roll guard. Same with combo 1, swipes, the backhand. Wings of Light and Volcano can be roll guarded, but the timing is later because the hitbox doesn't come right as it explodes. The cages usually drop in front of him and they take a while to come down, so whenever he stomps his foot on the ground like that in phase 2, they will start dropping down. You take less damage from a falling cage than a one being launched by Beowulf. If you get close to him, you can use Devil Trigger to guard yourself from the cages and Beowulf. You can also release through the volcano. Here is an attempt where I missed the gold release. I parry this and then I parry the pause wipes after hitting him in the eye, and he can do the pause wipes once or twice. I'm not sure what it's dependent upon. And by the way, if you don't do enough damage, then he can still go to phase 2 despite not being staggered. Here I do terrible jump cancels, but at least I hit the gold release. The release does about 40% of his health, and remember to use Devil Trigger and not DTE when you jump cancel and release on him. A typical case of having to go after him, I usually try to parry the foot stomps, which he does 3 of, and then he just keeps knocking the cages away. You'd want to get behind him so you can jump cancel him, but at the same time you want to jump cancel the eye, so it's very difficult to do. You don't have to have full Devil Trigger when you come to the fight, because parrying him gives you a lot, but the meter for Royal Guard you should have, because if you miss parries, then you're gonna have to wait until you parry again, because you absolutely want the full level 2 Royal Guard when you do the release, otherwise you will be lacking in damage by a lot. Here I get good jump cancels and a good release, but it's still not enough for the one cycle. And basically the jump cancels can do a different amount of damage, and like here you can see whenever his head pops like that, that means you got the bigger damage. I don't really know how to get it consistently, I just jump cancel and hope I get it. Here you can see in slow motion, small damage, big damage, small damage, small, small, big, big, big. There's a clear difference on the damage, and it's a very significant difference. There is the release. I'm not exactly sure on how big the window is for the release, but I feel it may vary a little bit, but general rule is when you hear the bong sound effect, then that's when you should either during it or right after it. In the second phase, it is suggested that you just attack his eye, but try to avoid the cages. You can try parrying them, you can try releasing through his basically any of his attacks, like the rush or the body slam or the swipes or anything. Even if you die, you can still do the one cycle, because you can get enough guard and Devil Trigger to do it. When jump cancelling him here, try to hit the head, so you want to align yourself more to the left, or if you're on the left side then to the right, or right in the middle of his face. It should be noted that even if you attack him in the eye, he might sometimes just disregard it and just keep attacking you, and that may change the camera angle in a very annoying way, like this. So jump cancelling can be a lot more difficult. Here is Private Cinnamon Bun doing the one cycle. Even though he uses DT, which I don't recommend because it's a waste, and it will definitely screw you over in phase 2 if you don't get the one cycle. But anyway, you can still do it with it, it's just that don't do it. Here's the same thing without DT. Make sure that you're either facing him directly or slightly to the right or to the left, otherwise your gold release may still whiff him and you will do either little or no damage. And when you parry those ball swipes, just roll guard to the left and do quick tip-tap parries, and it should be easy. Now here you can see jump cancelling on his shoulder, trying to hit his eye, and just in time for the release. One big damage, small, and then that's it. And your stinger to the end. If you have Agni Rudra equipped, then swap it here, because at the next mission you will have whatever weapon you had equipped previously on hand, and you want the Rebellion. If you didn't get the last purple orb at the start of mission 11, get it now. Anyway, stinger or just run a bit, because you want to do 4 stingers and the last one you want to hit the door with instead of just running. Then do 2 stinger slides here. You'll be devil triggered throughout the mission except for the boss, and you cannot use devil trigger explosion. On the Temperance wagon you want to taunt when the other one comes next to you, and then shotgun the gluttonies so that you can get them next to each other so you can switch cancel them easier. There's 3 gluttonies, then there's 4 prides, and for them either do stinger twice or shotgun 3 times. I recommend shotgun because that will kill them faster and will prevent them from blocking. After then you have to kill 2 lusts, and then there's gonna be a wrath, and you want to spam Ebony and Ivory and parry it whilst also damaging the lust, so you may want to shotgun them against the walls. Then there will be 2 sloths, and one of them will always attack you, so you want to do a gold release on that and perhaps hit both of them. Anyway, when you kill 2 of them, 2 more will spawn, and you want to keep them or wait until they both spawn and then make the second wrath explode. After that, kill this gluttony, then destroy that wrath, and then destroy this one once the gluttony appears. Use the release on the sloth. Whenever you kill an enemy in this mission, you get health. Next, you want to stinger next to the stairs, wall jump, and stinger to the door. Then stinger 2 or 3 times. Once, then you can run, and then stinger slide here. This pride may or may not block you. If he doesn't, then kill him. If he does, attack the lust. And then, anyway, kill the last second, then kill those 2, and then kill this one, and then this lust. And then there's a pride right here, which is a stinger twice. And the camera can be a bit iffy here. Then kill these 2 prides and then this last. As you can see, the stinger is very good. Then stinger here, stinger, and then just run through this. There's gonna be a stinger slide in the next room, but it is very difficult to make it so that you actually land on this gear right here instead of having to jump an extra time. Anyway, here, jump, wall jump, and then do the devil trigger glide. You do it by holding jump and lock on at the same time, and you will be locking on to one of these 2 birds here. Then do a stinger slide here. Then go to this room, and then stinger twice, equip Agni and Rudra, and jump, run behind this vanguard, jump cancel him a bit. At this point you're gonna be low on health, so I suggest you kill a couple of prides and then keep attacking the vanguard because he can be very annoying. Also, this room has probably the worst camera in the entire game, so get used to this. If you can get parried here, that's good, because it will just make Geryon a bit easier.
Yeah, give me the white orb.
And here I get my first white orb of the game, so it will give me a prompt of it. Then stinger here, stinger again, skip the cutscenes. Now you don't have infinite devil trigger anymore. Here, stinger, you can pick up the vital star if you want, but you don't need it. And devil trigger, run here a bit until you are at the last light, which is the 5th light, and then stinger. Then run a bit and stinger twice, and now we get to Geryon. Geryon is a fairly simple fight, but it's easy to choke it and lose a lot of time. In the first phase he will always just run at you, and you have to knock him down using Helmbreaker. Helmbreaker is much more reliable than Aerial Cross because it just goes instantly down and there's like a hurt box all the way down. After a while he will get up and make this barrier that slows time if you touch it. Do not get hit by this, you have to be at least this far away to not get hit. After that, just do another Helmbreaker to knock him down and switch cancel him. If you get run over, not only do you take a lot of damage, but he will also do the run 3 more times, each time progressively faster. If you get hit by the Quicksilver orbs, it will be a lot harder to stop him as well, so make sure you don't touch them. You can use Devil Trigger here, but there's not much point because you need Devil Trigger for the second phase. In the second phase, he will try to run over you again, you want to knock him down. Then use Devil Trigger, use a couple of aerial crosses. Even though he resists Agni Rudra, they still do a lot of damage to him. Then he will use Quicksilver and then do a carriage spin. After that he wants to run over you again, or alternatively he might run around in circles around the arena, which is the worst thing that can happen because it's such a big time waste. Even if you run after him, you have to basically run across the arena and then wait until he comes at you and then stop him. But you don't want that to happen, and you have to stop him like every time he teleports here. And like right here he's running around, but I got on top of him, but that doesn't really happen often. Usually you get run over, or you touch the carriage and get hit. You really want to go for a gold release when he rushes at you, and you have to use Devil Trigger to get the max damage. It will also knock him down instantly. Not getting a gold release will do significantly less damage to him, and doing a fight where he only teleports twice will be basically impossible. And this is what happens if you cannot stop him, or if you cannot parry him. Just take a lot of damage. And if you let him be like this, he will either start running again or stomp the ground, making these flames come out. And sometimes, or when he reaches a certain health amount whilst running around here, he will do these quicksilver balls, and then when you get hit by one, a bunch of spears will come around you and try to hit you. He can also shoot missiles from his carriage, and they home in quite well, so you want to parry those if possible. I mean, this shouldn't be happening, but if this happens, then as you can see, you can basically just jump and parry, or just spam parrying here. Geryon does this for quite a while, and after a while he will run back to the middle like this. Then he will pause for a moment. The missiles can still keep firing from the carriage, and then he's gonna stomp the ground with a bunch of quicksilver orbs around you, and after that he will start running again. Doing reverse stingers here is also very risky, because you can just get hit by the quicksilvers and end up like this. Do note that the fight gets harder if you die to him once, because he will not do the carriage spin the first time around, and you will also be lacking in Devil Trigger and perhaps Royal Guard. Sometimes, the same as with Beowulf, if you try to knock him down like this, he won't fall off immediately, but this may be a good thing because you can get more damage in before he goes down. This is what happens if you get hit. He's gonna start running around and you're gonna try and get in front of him, but even like one missed reverse stinger is gonna make it so that you have to go across the arena again to get in front of him, and whether or not you can knock him down is, is kind of iffy. You can also jump on top of him or the carriage, but the carriage takes less damage, so you should not be wasting your time attacking it, even though it's easier. He will also get stunned after a while, even if you hit the carriage. You also cannot jump cancel Geryon, which is a shame, and you should avoid doing any jumping here, because this is what it will end up looking like. So the optimal fight goes something like this: stinger twice, then get ready to knock him down with a Helmbreaker. Do a couple of aerial crosses, then switch cancel, then move away from him as he gets up, and then repeat the same. And make sure that if you use Devil Trigger in this fight, do not deactivate it if you are at 3 stocks, or the base stocks or below, because you cannot activate it again until you have at least 3 stocks. In phase 2, knock him down, then use Devil Trigger and switch cancel. You can switch cancel him a bit after he gets up, then go away and do a roll guard on the carriage spin. Then attack with Devil Trigger and aerial crosses, knock him down again. And here you want to keep your Devil Trigger on, because you want to get the gold release, because it does more damage with Devil Trigger than without it. I get it anyway, and it knocks him down. I use Devil Trigger, and here, as you're about to run out, use the Devil Star you picked up in Mission 11. And this is very important, because you don't want to use it at the wrong time. You want to use all the Devil Trigger you can, and not leave any unused. So optimally, he only teleports twice. Then stinger and do a little bit of cutscene movement here, and then just stinger to the end. When starting out, you shouldn't be too concerned over going fast in this mission. It's much more important to not die, and this is a good place to use the gold orb. It's so difficult to do the fucking... At the start of mission 13, buy a Devil Star. You can get a free one during the mission, but buying one costs 5 seconds, whereas getting the free one costs 10. You should have the orbs necessary to get it, especially if you take extra orb ores. Anyway, you're gonna have to do one mandatory fight in this mission, and for it you need to use the Devil Trigger explosion, and optimally only the amount of stocks that you need. So as it starts, Stinger and then start charging the Devil Trigger explosion. Then jump cancel the pawns. 4 aerial crosses will kill one. Then when you have 5 stocks, and make sure you're close enough to these two, then explode. Then parry the door and then taunt once, and then kill like 1 pawn here. Then try to get all of them in the explosion. A 5 stock explosion will kill everyone. Here I use a 4 stock because I thought charging it up more would just waste time, and I could finish them off right there. Stinger to the door, then run up here, jump, shoot, jump, you will get a hidden orb cache. And right here you can use Devil Trigger until you have about 2 of the base stocks. And then here at the 5th light, aka 3rd white light after that red one, you use Stinger. If you go behind here you will get a free Devil Star, but I don't need it, so I'm just gonna go through here. Then in this room, just Stinger once, then break this and this spike. In the wall, and be careful not to Stinger too early here, otherwise you will hit that other spike that you should not hit. Pick up the Orihef Halcon, use Devil Trigger to run, you can use even more here, and then just Stinger to the door, and after you come out, Stinger to these chest pieces, taunt, then just run and try to do a reverse Stinger to the door. And here you can see you can get blocked by these annoyingly. Right here is a free white orb, and I suggest you take it, because otherwise you probably won't build up enough Devil Trigger for Vergil. So the way the fight is supposed to go is very similar to the first one, in that you do 13 hits to him, then he gets knocked out of the combo, then you cancel the shotgun. Then you want to parry him again so you get full level 2 Royal Guard, and all the while you're charging Devil Trigger. After that you do 10 hits, and on the 5th one you unleash DT, and after the 10th you release, and then you hit him once more, and then he will do the Devil Trigger transformation, which gives him an invincible orb around himself. However, because he has been knocked below the threshold of where he does that normally, he will do it and then instantly teleport to the middle, where he will go into the 3rd phase, where he will remove his Devil Trigger and just start to use Yamato. The whole point of this is obviously to avoid him going Devil Trigger, where he will regain health, be faster and do more damage, and also be resistant to knockback. Naturally, this is a pretty big choking point, and even though I've done this fight more than pretty much any other fight in the game, I still can't get it right in actual runs. Vergil really loves to auto parry in this fight, as you can see. He's just constantly trying to auto parry any move I make, and if you let him recover from his moves, or if you trade moves with him, he will basically auto parry instantly after that. So the only way to really hit him is either parry his moves and attack afterwards, or just run away and avoid them and then run back to hit him. And as you can see, it's easy to choke these parry timings, because if you just try to jump and parry, you're gonna either get bodied or you're just gonna whiff the parries. And if you try to roll guard, the same thing can happen. So the best way to parry in this fight is honestly just staying still and getting the timing right. As you can see, he can do the dive kicks in a way that just instantly teleports and dive kicks, or just basically disappears from the map, like goes inside walls and then comes out. And here you can see he's at about 70% health. He will go Devil Trigger, he's invincible during the orb, and then he's gonna body you. Here I Stinger to him, he auto parries it, does a dive kick, and then I air guard it and then attack him. And that causes me to do this weird kick thing that happens when you're basically facing the opposite direction from the opponent and then attack. It does like no damage, and it will cause Vergil to auto parry again. So this is what happens when you let him go Devil Trigger at the 70% threshold. He's a lot faster, does more damage, and things like Rising Sun into Starfall will actually combo you. And Starfall will go further, and basically the right way to deal with this is to go Devil Trigger yourself and then just do Helmbreakers all day, because the Helmbreakers will get him out of the Devil Trigger state faster than just running away and letting him regen his health or doing anything else because it's likely that you will get hit. So you should just use Devil Trigger yourself. You can also pause the taunt, and it doesn't really do anything except let you catch your breath, because he will auto parry if you attack him there. And here you can see you can just run away from him during the Devil Trigger, but he will recover a lot of his health. Shooting at him will prompt him to teleport next to you and usually do Rising Sun or Starfall. Switch cancelling in this fight is actually a bad thing because it's easy to lose count of how many hits you did, and if you do any wrong moves you're gonna be wondering when he's gonna break free of the combos. And even if you try to do the space skip here, then as you can see it's just not gonna work. Sometimes you may end up on the sides of the arena unavoidably, and that will cause some awkward camera positions, as well as Vergil just teleporting inside the walls to dive kick you. After he goes to about 40% health, he will teleport to the middle of the arena, get off Devil Trigger, and then just start using Yamato, but he can still use Beowulf. With Yamato he can do the same things as in the first fight. Bear in mind that even after he gets off Devil Trigger in the last phase, he can still go Devil Trigger again. At times he may simply walk around, stop, do nothing, or taunt, or anything in between. When he goes phase 3, make sure not to stand too close to him, otherwise he will do a rapid slash and then he will auto parry if you try to attack him. So you should stay at least at this range to make him do the judgment cuts. Here's some of the parry timings. So this is the way I think is optimal to do this fight. First, make sure you have your shotgun equipped. Then you run into the room and then Stinger. This will prompt him to auto parry and dive kick in front of you. Roll guard it, then do 1-2s 10 times. After that, do Rebellion combo 1. This will knock him out of the combo. Then cancel with your shotgun. And optimally you only need to parry one full combo now to get full level 2 Royal Guard. But as you can see, I keep choking and messing up. You absolutely have to get it. Also, charge up Devil Trigger Explosion during all this. Then, right as he auto parries one last time, I do 1-2s 10 times, and the 5th I release DT, and then after the 10th hit I will do a release. Then I will use the Devil Star I bought at the start of this mission. Then I get close to him and taunt a bit for style. Then I make sure I'm standing around where the white straight lines start to divide. Then I run at him and start doing 1s 13 times and releasing DT. After that I shotgun cancel, and that finishes the fight. Just like that. And since this is a very short mission, it's easy to lose time on it and choke at Vergil no matter how many times you've done it before. Of course I choke. Mission 14 is when you get the Beowulf weapon, and from this point on you'll be replacing Agni and Rudra with it. So first, Stinger to get it right here. You can DT a bit, DT with Stinger, or just run with it, and then jump on top of this rubble and Stinger slide. Then replace ANR with Beowulf, just like that. The next, you're forced to break a combat adjudicator, and it gives you a blue orb fragment, but you don't want that. It's just a waste of time. So the way you break this is you do the Hyper Fist, aka the crazy combo of Beowulf. 1-2 slide pause and then mash, and you can stop mashing once the stylish rank goes next to the exclamation mark. Then enter and you should be able to avoid picking up the blue orb fragment. There's an optional crystal orb ore to the left of here, but you don't need it. Also make note that never do a dive kick with Beowulf in this elevator because you will softlock the game. Wait until the elevator comes up, do a Stinger slide. Then just Stinger to this corner here and pick up this orb cache and dive kick to the door. Here you can use pretty much almost all of your Devil Trigger if you want, because you're not going to be needing it much yet. In this room you have a bunch of Dolahans, so just run around behind this one, taunt 1, 2, 3, and then if they try to run away from you like that, just jump and parry, and that should stop them. You can also use Devil Trigger to run after them. Then you want to kill this one here in the middle, then this one, and then the last one is most likely either coming at you or trying to escape to the direction where you are going anyway. In the next room, wall jump on top of the door and dive kick down here. Then just get on the Temperance wagon. Once you see the upcoming wagon fully, start charging DT. That way you will get a 4-stock explosion which will kill the Losts and do severe damage to the Sloth, so you can just do 2 dive kicks and kill it. Taunt, then run behind the Vanguard and start holding DT and jump cancelling. DT when the Gluttonies appear, just like this. You may have to jump cancel the Vanguard a bit more or less, and its death animation may be short or long. Next up is Hell's Highway, which consists of 4 mandatory fights with the pawns if you take the correct path, which you should. So once here, go to the right here. Now taunt and then hold straight, but don't let it go until they are fully spawned in, because otherwise they won't take damage. And once you do the second last dive kick on this pawn, start charging DT so you get a 4-stock explosion. Then take it off, go here like right, then do the same, taunt, straight, and then you want to go for a gold release on this knight. If it doesn't work, you can just keep attacking it, and it's a lot harder to jump cancel the knights and pawns. Now here you can either just charge up to 5 stocks or 4 and do like 2 attacks, or you can hold the straight for a bit and do it, but I suggest just DTing. And in this room you wanna jump cancel the bishop once, start holding DT, then go after the bishop because it's going to move, kill it and then explode on the knights. In the last room, taunt and charge straight on the bishop and start holding DT, and similarly they will move when you first attack them. And be careful of the fireballs. Then taunt once more and then straight the knight, release if you want, you can parry the attack as well. And then you should DT and kill all of them at the same time pretty much. And after that you can taunt and then stinger past this blue orb fragment. Also make note that you have to be in range to kill all the enemies in the Hell's Highway, otherwise you'll be wasting DT, especially if the knights jump. Here you want to do a dive kick and a stinger. Right here, do a couple of reverse stingers if you're feeling confident. You can use DT to run a bit, but make sure you don't run out of it completely, because you want to kill this Enigma and then taunt after it. Then stinger twice and do a DT stinger slide on these stairs and keep the DT on for the rest of the mission. Go to this teleport, stinger to this door, and then do jump, shoot, jump, pick up the holy water, and then get on top of the truck, jump, switch to Beowulf and dive kick down. Mission accomplished. Mission 15 is simple but can also be dangerous due to the death abuse. So first you wanna run to this door, then the Fallens will come in. You wanna stay to this door so you can parry it once, then use at least 2 Helmbreakers to break the guard on one of the Fallens. Then the other one will spawn right here. You wanna break its guard, and whilst you've been charging DT, make sure they're both close enough to it and explode. Then you can taunt, and the thing is, the Fallens will try to get away from you if you try to close in. So if you stay in the middle of the arena and spam the guns, they will come to you. So go to the door, hold DT, parry the door, spam Ebony and Ivory to make this one come down to you, and then as it does that attack, don't get hit by it, it will knock you back really far away. And this arena is also very bad. If they go inside the walls, then go to the middle of the room and spam Ebony and Ivory. But normally you can do this just fine, even if they are inside the walls you can reach them with the DT and taunt, and if you get to parry any of their attacks you can use it to release on them. Gold release is especially useful. They also resist Beowulf, but they still take good damage from it, but I would say mostly just use Rebellion. They can do a long-range lunging attack. They can also throw their sword, which creates a big explosion and does a ton of damage, so you don't get hit by it. You can jump guard it pretty easily though. They also have a move where they spin their sword like 3 times around themselves like this. You can parry that as well, but you will get knocked back quite far unless there's a wall behind you, so be careful of that. And this is what happens when they don't really cooperate with you, but this wasn't too bad. Anyhow, Stinger, taunt, and then either reverse Stinger or dive kick or DT run or just run. Then Stinger twice and run here, because otherwise you're gonna just hit the walls easily, like that. Then Stinger slide, dive kick, Stinger slide, activate the wheel. Then you wanna wall jump from the Leviathan to get a hidden orb cache and dive kick. Then here you can see an optional orb, or you don't need it. Then Stinger twice, then you want to do a wall jump and dive kick here. And then here is the first actual wheel of the mission, and the first one you activate twice. So there's 4 wheels you need to activate like this. Then the number of times you need to hit it to activate is 2, 1, 2, 2. And you don't really want to use Devil Trigger like I did there, because you want to use it to run in an upcoming room. Anyway, in this room, Stinger slide, then just jump over these, hope the soul leaders don't harass you, pick up this Orichalcon fragment. Then do gold releases on these blades right here. It's fairly simple once you give it a try, and dive kick right there. Optimally you don't need that health there. Then just Stinger back here, and ta-da, the room has changed. Here you should use the DT, because otherwise you can't really Stinger here, like these Dullahans will be harassing you constantly. You can parry this for a bit of meter, which you should, like about 2 stocks. Then activate this wheel twice, so it was 2, 1, 2, 2. This is the 3rd wheel. Then you can activate DT and run here, and if you're lucky you can reverse Stinger, pick up this Orichalcon fragment, and then go back to that room. Now this is an important part. You want to lower your health fairly low. First you must parry these wheels. You want quite a bit of Devil Trigger, not too much and not too little. You want to take damage from these so that you are at about 2 stocks of health, but be careful. When you get hit by these wheels, you may sometimes take damage twice, and that may end up killing you. Anyhow, in this room, Stinger slide here, then dive kick down here, activate this wheel twice. If you are low on health and the blood girls are aggressive, I suggest you use Devil Trigger. Just activate it and you will take very little damage. Don't bother fighting them. Anyway, you can just run over that, then jump here, dive kick here, and get into this room. And here you wanna first Stinger, then wait a bit, Stinger again, maybe Stinger one more time if you want. After that it can be difficult because there's a Dullahan behind you, and then right those two these pillars that spin, they actually do very little damage to you, but you should still be careful if you are low on health. And if you're in doubt, just activate DT. Anyway, you want to kill yourself on these spinning things, or the Dullahans. Then continue, yes, but don't use the gold orb if you have, that's a mistake. Then just you end up here after the death abuse, DT, and run here, activate the elevator, get into it, and after you go up the elevator, do a cutscene movement with just 1 and then the combo 2 spinning slashes like that, and that's it.